New habits are hard to stick to because you're trying to do something consistently that you've either never done before or there's something about it that you don't want to do. And we all know this is true for healthy habits, especially when we're trying to work out. We don't really want to go to the gym or whatever the thing is. So it's hard to stick to it because there's a part of you that doesn't really want to do it. Something like brushing your teeth is easy for most people, hopefully. If you had parents who taught you to brush your teeth every day, at least twice a day, it's easy because you've always done it. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to go, oh yeah, I have to get in the habit of brushing my teeth, because it's something you do on autopilot. Most of what you do every day are things that are on autopilot. You don't have to put much thought into the things that you always do and that you've always done, because these are lifelong habits. Things, like I said, brushing your teeth, things that you get up and do every day. You eat, you go to work. Part of the problem when you're trying to create new habits is that you're doing too much at once. When you're trying to integrate 15 new habits, especially the classic, I'm starting on Monday, I'm going to do a full new routine. What happens is it takes a lot for your brain, a lot of energy to stick to each and every one of those habits. And you might be able to do it for one day, but by the time you get to the end of the day, you're going to reach decision fatigue. You're going to be exhausted because every little thing required a decision. You had to push yourself to do each and every one of those things because they're not yet on autopilot. They're not habits. My recommendation is to do one habit at a time. This is the slow approach. This is the tortoise won the race. The hare was faster, but the tortoise won because he was patient and not arrogant. When you're trying to do too much at once, you become overwhelmed. Focus on one thing. Focus on the most important thing and the thing that's going to have the biggest ripple effect into your everyday life, and it's going to spill into every other area of your life. And for myself, especially recently, it was, I need to stop snacking at night. I have a bad habit of doing that. So when you find your thing that you know, this thing is going to make the biggest difference for me, or it might even be the hardest thing, but if you can focus your energy on that and tackle that one thing, it's going to be a lot easier over time to integrate more. Remember, it takes about 2 weeks to actually stick with a new habit. For 2 weeks, it's going to be hard. You're going to have to push yourself every day. So if you're pushing yourself every day to do 10, 15, whatever different things, you're going to be so exhausted. And eventually you're going to give up and you're not going to stick with it long term. And the whole thing and the whole point with habits is sticking with it long term, because you're trying to integrate something that you can do consistently over time. Another thing is to make it super easy. Don't overcomplicate it. Like myself, if I have a certain goal in mind, I have a certain fitness goal. Sure, you can say, okay, I'm going to drink this much water, and I'm going to track my calories and eat this and this much protein, all these steps that you want to take. But that's complicated. Make it really easy on yourself. Like for me, the biggest thing was trying to avoid snacking too much at night, especially when I'm not even hungry, trying to eat an earlier dinner and eat what I need throughout the day so I'm not putting all my calories at night before I'm going to bed. That was most important to me, but it's also pretty easy to do. I just had to shift some things around in my routine and really find something else to do, because a lot of us snack out of boredom. When I was growing up, I was never told to make my bed. No one ever told me to do that, ever. No, I'm just thinking about it. I don't think any adult ever told me you should make your bed or you need to make your bed. It's not how I grew up. It's not how anyone did it in my home. And as I got a little older, especially in my teen years, I really started to value making my bed. Because it was never a habit I had, it took me a while and I wasn't that consistent about it. I would do it sometimes, but not always. But the older I got, the more important it became. And now I'm at a point where I almost never don't make my bed. I would say 99 times out of 100, my bed is made. So Well, for myself, even though that's not something I grew up with, it's something that I valued. I learned that making your bed can boost productivity. It's that first little thing you can tick off your list for the day. It makes you feel productive, and also makes your overall room look so much cleaner, because if your bed, which most likely it is the focal point or the center of your room, that's going to be the thing you see when you walk into the room. So making sure that your bed is made, it looks nice. It's also easier to focus on everything else that needs to get done, because it doesn't look as messy, and it's easy. It's like you don't have to spend 10 minutes making it and making it perfect, just about straightening it up, making it look decent. So that was important to me, and therefore it became quite easy to eventually turn it into an everyday habit because it actually aligned with my lifestyle and what I believe is important. That brings me to my next thing. Take a look at the habits that you're trying to integrate. Are they truly important to you? Are they something that you want to do, or are they something that you've been told you should do, whether it's by your parents, family, friends? You see someone else do it, so you're thinking, well, this is what I should do. So often we do things and we repeat words and sayings just because that's what we've been told, but we haven't really put any thought to it. Like, is this really important to me? Is this something I care about? Because maybe making your bed isn't that important to you. Some people don't believe that. They say, well, I'm just going to get into it at the end of the day. What's the difference if I straighten it out and make it look nice? And sure, that's fine if that's what you believe. Everyone has their own right to believe what they want and what's important in their life. So ask yourself what's really important to you, and why are you trying to integrate this new habit? And is it something that you want? If it isn't, for example, if it's something your spouse wants and they've been telling you you need to do this thing, do you understand why they find it important? Because that could be another reason that you're finding it hard to actually stick with this thing or put effort into it, because you don't understand why you're doing it to begin with, if it seems silly. So try to get an understanding of, why is this something that's important to whoever I'm doing this for, or why is it important to me? Because if there's no answer to that, then you have to ask yourself, is this really worth putting effort towards? Another thing to have a look at is, are the new habits that you're trying to integrate, are they actually doable the way you are integrating them? I'm going to use this as an example just because it's a very typical one. Eating healthy, going to the gym, those are like the classic ones that people are trying to integrate into their life. Well, eating healthy shouldn't be impossible. It shouldn't put you in debt. You should be able to just make swaps the best you can based on where you are right now financially, what you have access to, what you have time for. There's nothing wrong with buying canned foods or semi-prepped meals. If you're trying to avoid eating out, or just freezer meals or something like that, you're trying to eat a little bit better, then figure out what components can you prep and what components can you buy pre-prepped. So again, these are decisions you have to make for yourself based on your budget, based on your lifestyle, what you have time for, because most people don't have both time, money, and energy. Usually you have one or the other, maybe two, but it's rare that most people have all three. So you have to see what you value. Someone who has money, but they don't have a lot of time or energy, they might go for something that's a little bit more pre-prepped, but from a nicer store because they can afford it. But if that's not an option, or you can't afford that, then you say, okay, well, maybe I can put a little bit more time into this because I have a little bit more time, especially on certain nights. You might not have time every night either, and you don't have to make a luxury or extensive meal every night. That's not necessary. And on those nights where you don't have a lot of time or energy or whatever you don't have, then those are the nights that you can focus on, okay, what elements of this meal can I buy pre-made? Or like, for example, vegetables. A lot of people struggle to eat vegetables because they take so long and there's so much effort, which I understand. So there's nothing wrong with buying frozen vegetables. I love the green beans, the long ones. What are they called? They're so good from Trader Joe's. I just take them right from the freezer and throw them in a pan and heat them up on low heat. Throw a little olive oil in there, a little salt and white pepper. Delicious. Easy. So that way I don't have an excuse not to integrate a vegetable in my meal because I'm making it so easy on myself. The last thing I want to leave you with that I hope will help you out in your journey to integrate new habits into your life. So often we tell ourselves that we need to stop doing something. I do this a lot. Or I tell myself something that isn't very specific. I get told a lot recently that I need to slow down when I'm eating. I eat way too fast. I feel like I've always been a slow eater, but recently I'm eating faster and faster because I'm like, I don't know, I'm in a rush or I'm just really hungry. And we all know it's not good for digestion and our health to eat too quickly. It can create a lot of problems. So I was constantly reminding myself, slow down, slow down, slow down. But that doesn't really help. It's not really a helpful thing to tell myself because it's not specific. So what I started doing instead is I started to tell myself, chew 25 to 30 times before you swallow. That gave me something specific to focus on, and it's a lot easier to stick with rather than just telling myself slow down, because what is that? And then I forget to do it because it's not specific enough, and I go right back to doing what I was doing before. Hopefully that's something you can use as a tool as well. Tell yourself something specific. Again, I reiterate, make it easy. Don't make it hard on yourself. Don't try to do a million things at once. And give yourself some praise. You know, it's hard trying to change your life, grow, and evolve. Give yourself some credit for trying and give yourself more praise than punishment. It's so easy to feel defeated and every day be like, wow, I didn't do the thing I said I was going to do. Wow, I'm such a loser. Or, you know, whatever negative language, it's so easy to stick to that. And eventually you start to believe it about yourself, even though it's not really true, because you're trying, you're doing your best with whatever tools you have. Maybe you're not in a great position in life and you're doing your very best. So give yourself some credit and try to give yourself positive reinforcement and say, and when that comes up, just say, hey, no, that's not true. I'm doing my best. I'm trying, and I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to keep trying until I find a way or a method that actually I can stick with. It takes a long time. Like I said, once you actually start a new habit, it takes at least 2 weeks. I think it's actually 21 days, so it's more like 3. It takes 3 weeks for it to really stick. It's not going to happen overnight. So be patient with yourself. I hope you can take something with you today as always, and I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll be back for more.